to the Dr. VTech Show. This podcast is a long-form conversation hosted by Dr. VTech with the top guests in the world of esports. All from owners, pros, semi-pros, former pros, and content creators of many games. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. VTech Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have a special guest, and let me tell you, this guy is special, and he is a legend, and he is tough. Oh boy, when I say tough, he is tough. Well, how tough? Well, he brushes his teeth with charcoal. Let me tell you, that's how tough this guy is. He is tough, brutal. This guy is insane. Guys, everybody, I know you may have heard of him. He's a phenomenal person, and he played for quite a few years with Soniqs and then went to Spacestation Gaming. Guys, I want to introduce you to the one and only Yeti.
Yo.
How you doing? How you doing, Yeti?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Tech?
Doing good, man. Finally, we got to meet up, man, because it's been a minute. We always tried, and there's always something popping up, and I know your work in the car industry is very busy.
Them long hours, let me tell you.
Yeah. How you like it?
I like it. I mean, I don't like everything about it, but it's pretty cool for a normal job. Job.
So-called, yeah. I did that for so many years, and it came to a point that I had to come to terms with God, and I said, I can't do this no more.
I could see you as a car salesman. You definitely kind of, I get the vibe from it, honestly.
I was a car salesman for some time, and then I got recruited by this company. I was a hustler, man. I hustled there. I fought tooth and nail selling cars.
Yep.
And then there was this company came in and did a mass sales, and they'll come in as a group. They bring their own 5 top tier salesmen. And I'm like, what the heck is this? They go, oh, get ready to make a lot of money because, like in 5 days, you're gonna make the most word you ever made. I'm like, okay. But the manager told me, those 5 guys, they're elites.
Mm.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I said, all of them, they're closers.
Yep.
They're that good. I'm like, okay. And that week I busted my butt. I sold, I think, like 7 cars in 5 days. And then at the end, the guy, the manager that was on duty for those 5 days came up to me and said, this is my business card. The day you decide to quit or you want to move forward, want to do something, I'm not saying to quit your job. The day you decide to in the future, give me a call. And then they left. Nobody received that card, only me. And I told one of my buddies, I said, hey, listen, I got wait, you got the freaking card? That means you're recruited, bro. They want you. So I said, well, I'm moving back to Puerto Rico. I said, that doesn't matter. Call them. So I called the guy the next day. I said, listen, so I'm going to be going back to Puerto Rico. Do they have this in Puerto Rico? He says, oh, don't worry about it. I got people that live in Hawaii and come to work and go back to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, you'll be good. So I went to the island, moved back home. And then I told the guy, I said, listen, I don't have that much money. I don't have money for the flights. And it was for Buffalo. My first sale was in Buffalo. It was a mass sale we did in Buffalo, New York. And he said, don't worry about it. I'll pay you the hotel, pay everything. I'm like, okay, cool. How much is it? He says, well, you owe me $700 flight and hotel and everything. I'm like, dang. So during the sale, I went, they flew me over. I worked. Like on the second day, I said, listen, if it's possible, can I pay you little by little so I can pay it back? He says, no, you're going to pay me after this 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. He says, just do what you got to do. You just go to work, sell cars. I'm like, okay. So I sold like 5 cars. He says, come here real quick. In 5 days, you're gonna cash this check, and then you're gonna give me my $700. I'm like, damn, how much did I make? Like $1,200. He goes, no, you made $3,500. You're gonna go ahead and let's go catch it. Give me my
Yeah.
$700. I'm like, damn,
Yep.
I'm all in.
Yep.
So it was crazy. And then after sometimes they made me a closer. I did closer for a while. That was kind of fun, interesting.
Stressful.
It's very stressful, man.
Yeah, you're responsible for the whole team's success. I compare it to like people when I tell like my friends who still play games and stuff. I'm like, it's like kind of like being an IGL in real life.
Yes. You hit it
Yeah.
out
Well,
of the ballpark. That is
yeah.
so true. Because you're I'm gonna tell you what my boss used to tell me. He says the day a salesman needs a closer is because they didn't do a good enough job
Yep. They put them on the
presenting
wrong
the car.
car, or they demoed the wrong car, or they didn't demo it good
Yes.
enough. So there's so many ways like in the process where it can get like fucked up, and you as a floor manager has to go in and figure out where they fucked up, fix it, and still sell the car.
Yes. That is so
Yeah.
true. That is so true. I mean, there's been occasions that I remember that we used to have the top salesman in our team in our group. This
Mhm.
guy will they will give out free Rolexes. You know, whoever wins sells the most car get a free $10,000 Rolex.
Yeah.
And I used to come in second place. I'm like, dang it! And then one day, this guy said, "No, I can't sell this guy. I can't sell this. This guy's a tire kicker."
Yep.
You know, for those that don't know
Just
what a
kicking
tire kicker
tires.
is, yeah, kicking tires. They're just burning time.
Yep.
So he's a tire kicker. He has no money. He has no money. He just then my boss says, Jeff, go attack. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the guy and I'm talking to him and he's like, no, I just want to look at some cars. And I say, you know what? Screw this. I'm not going to sell this guy anything. I'm going to be his friend. So I just started talking about dogs, cats. We just started talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I said, I'm not going to sell him a car because the other guy already tried.
Yep.
So let me go with a different strategy. This guy is looking for somebody to trust. So I just start talking about dogs, cats. He's a dog lover. We just start talking about pets and walking around the lot and just walking, talking about pets, family, friends, high school. And at the end, he takes out, he goes, listen, I got $20,000. Please tell me, what do you recommend? That smile went from ear to ear.
Yep.
I tell my boss, which one has the good good
Yep.
front end. He knows because we sell the used cars
Oh yeah.
because those make you more money.
They make you more money. There's less discounts and rebates. There's no
Yeah.
rebates, but
So went ahead, got him a good car. He says, what about that? And that one's junk. Don't look at that one. I tell him these are good. You're gonna have a good time in it, and it's what you want for studying, going to college. You want something that lasts you a real long time, go for this and sold the vehicle. So so there's different strategies how to sell, and I'm sure you picked it up by now, right?
yeah, I mean, I got promoted to floor manager in like 5 months.
What, floor manager?
Mm-hmm. Closer, same thing.
Okay, how you like it so far? I mean,
So it's a lot of stress. Our dealership's it's unique, so it's privately owned. It's not owned by big groups like Lithia or it's local. It's a individually owned auto group. So we have a Fiat store, a Fiat and Alpha store, a Kia store, and then the Dodge store. And then at the Dodge and Kia and Alpha, we all sell used cars too. So
okay,
yeah, and then they count a lot of ratios and stuff, and you basically have quotas. So you have to have a certain closing percentage for your team, a write-up percentage for your team, and it has to be in the green. If you're in the red, you're in trouble, buddy.
yeah.
So
So nowadays, I haven't kept up on this. How nowadays, what is the quota for usually the dealership go to? Like what, 15 cars a month, or
way more. Oh, for like an individual,
yeah, for a salesman individual, how much they have to sell a month?
Dodge is a badass brand, but not everyone sees it that way. Or
Correct.
it's not a big family brand. We don't have minivans. We sell Chargers, Challengers, and Durangos and trucks. So for our dealership, like 15, like you're a top 5 salesman in the store. If you're selling like 8 to 10, that puts you like top 10, 15. Anything below that, you're not working hard
Yeah.
enough.
Did they give you like the 3 months grace period? If you don't pick it up in 3 months, you're out.
It's a person to person basis. Like if they see you hustling and like you sell 8 cars, they're not gonna, you know what I mean? They're gonna try
Yeah.
to help you and like motivate you, but they're not gonna just like kick you out. Now, if you're just like lazy and you're calling out of work a bunch and you're not really working when you're there, you're hiding and like hiding from ups and stuff, then yeah, you'll probably get the boot. But it's
Yeah.
all just a personal relationship with you and the managers and respect and this and that. So
Wow. Man, I was when you posted that you were going to the dealership, I said, "Oh, God bless them."
yeah,
I know the stress and then the 12-hour shifts that you're
every
pulling.
Saturday, it's a 12-hour shift, and then
Every said not every day.
no, thank God. I wouldn't be alive if I worked 12 hours a day. I work usually like 8 to 9 hour shifts most days. Um, every Saturday it's a bell, so open to close. And then and that's 8:30 to 9. And
But
then
8:30 to 9 p.m. every day, no? Or
no,
just Saturdays?
that's just Saturdays.
Okay.
My normal shifts are either 8:30 to 5 or 1 to 9. So 8-hour shifts.
Okay, you're kind of lucky because I had to pull 7 to 7
Yeah,
to
that's when
fight.
gross is a real thing back then. Gross, the car market's like
Yeah,
super down right now. So not a lot of gross to be made. So, and plus, if you work your salesman too hard, they're
they'll
not
burn
going to
out.
sell. They'll burn out. It's like sales
Yeah,
is
they'll
such a burnout job.
yeah, it is, man. It really burned me out, and it was the stress and walking on eggshells and just really hoping to get buyers, and then unfortunately, um, that's when GM went bankrupt, and then my career went kaploops. From making
Yeah,
above 100K a year, I just the owner of the company says, you know what, I'm saying goodbye to this, and this is it. And he was in his mid 30s. I'm gonna retire. So of
yeah,
course you're a millionaire, so we all the deals that we had, all the GM, General Motors, Ford, all these dealerships, we had contracts like for the whole entire, like year and all this stuff. They just said goodbye, because
yeah.
GM went bankrupt. So
Was that
this
like
was
what,
this
in
was
'08?
yeah, this is way back. Yeah,
Yeah,
way back. I was making mad money,
yeah.
mad money. It
COVID was
kind
the
of
best time to be a salesperson. I've worked with a bunch of guys that were selling cars during COVID. Buddy, $250,000, $300,000 a year because every new vehicle was marked up tens of thousands of dollars because there was a microchip shortage. So there were no
oh
new vehicles.
yes.
So people had very limited inventories and demand was still really high. People need cars in America. Like, public transportation is not what it is in like other countries. So they were making 15,000, 20,000, $25,000 checks a month for about 3 years.
Wow,
Uh-huh.
that's freaking crazy,
And that's why the
man.
market's so fucked right now. Is because
Yeah.
people are buried. They're buried on trucks and cars that don't hold that value that well. If you spend $70,000 on like a basic pickup truck, just because that's
Correct.
all they had back then, and you go to trade it in today, you're probably upside down still 20 grand after paying on it for 3 years, 2 years, a year even.
A truck that it's really hard to find is that Toyota Tacoma, man.
Mm-hmm. Toyota's
Try to see if
smart.
yeah, they're a
They're
smart company.
they're
Built
still doing
here,
it.
they build their vehicles here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. They build in the U.S. They don't overproduce the cars. Like they're very in tune with how much they're selling versus how many people are looking to buy. So there's still markups on Toyotas. If you go buy a Camry today, 5 grand markup. You go buy a Tundra today, 5 grand markup. And they're not just add-ons. There's ads on top of that. The dealership will sell ads on top of these markups because their production is so low in comparison to the demand. Like if you look at
Mm-hmm.
a Toyota lot, there's not a lot of new vehicles. I'm sure they have a bunch of used vehicles, but the new vehicles, like it's just right there with the buyers.
Yeah, it is. It's so true. They're very limited. They're not scattered like hundreds of them on the lot, because
Yeah.
that costs money to the dealership just having those cars in the
Floor
lot.
plan. Yep, there's
Yeah.
an accruing interest on vehicles once they've been there for X amount of days, even new or used, it doesn't matter. And working with probably the least selling new car brand in America right now. Got a lot of inventory, let me tell you. I have
Oh,
I have almost 100 Hellcats. It's insane.
what? Isn't that like one of the most selling speedsters out there? It's fast.
Yeah, I mean it's the
Sucker's fast.
yeah, it's like 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. But the thing is, it has a bunch of horsepower. Like you can get that number down. The main thing is like they struggle with just traction because they're so powerful. But that's the last of like the big V8 muscle cars. Is those the Mustangs and the Camaros, and
Yeah.
all the 23s that are out right now, they're last calls. So they're not making 24 Dodge Chargers and Challengers with V8 motors. They're going to be completely electric to what we know right now.
Oh man.
They're just so expensive though, so not everyone can afford them. You know, they're
Yeah.
$90,000 cars and they're marked up.
Yeah. But it's a muscle car. You feel that American engineering in there. You know, you once
You
once
feel
you
the democracy.
yeah, you feel like wow, this is American made muscle car. You can
Mm-hmm.
feel that horsepower, the torque once you press on the gas
Oh yeah,
pedal. You know, that suckers they're tough. Those vehicles. Jay Leno has one, and he was just like, I think he test drove one. It was just he loved it. He
yeah,
felt the power in it. It was like crazy. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
dang,
Yeah. And you hear the supercharger one and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's a very immersive experience driving one of those cars.
it is, man. It is. So Yeti, so how do you miss the Rainbow Six scene?
I was asked this question a lot when I first did it, especially from people like who I work with now, because like no one knows like professional gamers. Like it's such a small percentage of people. And on my job resume, my job like my resume, I was literally putting like my esports
Mm-hmm.
accolades. I put the teams I played for, the achievements I had on each one of these teams, and I just basically was looking through jobs through Indeed, and that's how I ended up doing that. But I tell people that I miss parts of it. I miss the competition. I miss the traveling. I miss the schedule. It's a very lax work schedule, especially when you work like a job like what I am now compared to what it was. Sure, I was still working 7 to 8 hours a day, and it's a very high stress environment.
Mm-hmm.
But you can stay up late. You can sleep in most of the time when you're practicing, and still be a very productive human being. Like, I mean, that's why it was so easy for me to go to the gym and stuff while I was playing games. I could wake up at like 10, go to the gym at 11, be on before 1, scrim, whatever. Or if I get done at 7, I would just scrim after that. Especially on the West Coast. The West Coast schedule is super easy. East Coast is a little bit tougher because scrims end at like midnight most times, or 11.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
But I don't miss being around a lot of younger individuals. Ego is a real thing, and
Yes.
like I'm not trying to like name drop or bash anybody like in specific, but like I just feel like there's a lot of teams that don't really hold players accountable for that too, because you want people to be confident, and a lot of times like the ego of it all, like feeling like you're better than everybody else, including your teammates, comes from confidence, but that confidence is like just overdone to an egotistical point. But I don't miss dealing with the personalities. Not it's very hit or miss. You're either
Yeah.
friends with a lot of people, or like you just don't click, and just there's no fixing that, because that's who they are, that's who you are. Especially now with it being online again. In person, it was a lot easier to kind of curb. You know, you're seeing these people every day.
That is, I'm gonna tell you something. That is so true. Um, there are some people that I know their egos are so freaking high that I don't even want them on my podcast. I don't care how popular. I don't even care they. And I said this multiple times. I don't care if they have a million followers or whatever. I don't care about that. That doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
What impresses me that it's somebody that is really good, but they're still humble and they're still, a nice, decent person. Yes, you can have a little bit of, I'd say a little bit of that ego, that competition attitude, but don't freaking think that you're better than everybody else, because that's not how it goes. Because you could win or lose,
Mhm.
and it only takes one headshot to die in the game. And but yeah, I totally feel you. I understand that. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, it's sad, but that's how it is. And some organizations should, like tell these players, hey, you need to calm down, bro.
Yeah.
Because just so you know, you're not, a god. I could kick you out any moment.
But see, it's not like that. So each team is different because if realistically the coach should have the keys, especially like now, and like they're the bridge between corporate like organization to players. But a lot of these players, like these star players, they have a lot more power than the coaches. So in traditional sports, the coach has this armor that lets him coach a team without having to fight the players and feedback. It's you respect me or get the fuck out. Esports is not like that. Like if the org likes players, like likes specific players more than the coach, then that player is going to be the one that holds the keys. And if he's a leader or not, it changes the team dynamic completely. I've been on teams where the players' relationships with coaches or organizations have like cost me my job before. So
Wow.
yeah,
That sucks.
yeah.
Now, I totally I believe you, man, because let's think about this. Let's say for an example, Jinxie decides to actually play in Pro League, and he probably could be really toxic with somebody in a team. I don't think the organization would care. They're like,
Nope.
yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want. He could disrespect the coach. He could disrespect the manager. The owners are going to be like, don't worry about it. Just let him do his
Yeah.
thing.
Because they're going to stream and stuff too. And it's like if you risk kicking them off a team, then you also risk them just like, not streaming for that organization or wanting to be a part of it at all. And then you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars or less or more. I don't know how much.
Oh man, be losing so much money because of the amount that he brings in. Is an example. It's an example.
No,
So
it's a
I
good
kind of
example.
like,
It's like Bolo too. Bolo's a really good guy, and like he's never done anything like that. But like
yeah,
when he was on TSM, it's the exact same thing. Bolo's such a big name and such a big brand. Like
correct.
that guy was untouchable. He was good as hell, so that obviously helps it up. But
That helps it.
he
Yeah.
was on his name alone made him untouchable.
Yeah, I think that's what I tell a lot of these players. I said, listen, your name is your brand.
Mhm.
It is up to you what you're going to do with it. You could be seen as a villain or you could see as somebody positive and good and as a role model. And I think you should really take care of that. You
Yeah.
should really take care of that. So how was it? How was it the transition when you left? Well, who do you got before you went into Soniqs?
United.
United. Okay.
Yeah.
So the transition when you went from United to the Soniqs, I think Seth was your manager, right? Soon, or was he
Seth
a teammate?
Seth was a teammate when we joined, and the entire time I played, he was a teammate.
Oh, okay. So he
Yeah, he was
wasn't
the
a
IGL.
manager.
He was the captain.
Oh, he was the captain. Okay. So
Yeah.
how was it working under?
Honestly, I think Seth is a very like he's a give or take individual. Like if you
Yeah.
respect Seth, Seth's probably gonna respect you, and he's pretty professional to work with. And then, yeah, I mean, we won a lot of that team, so I really don't have much bad things to say about it. Like we didn't have the best international experiences at majors, but um, as far as like domestically, like we were always top four for the most part. I think we one stage is the only time we missed a major. We like missed out on top four one time. So, but no, see, everyone like thinks Seth's like some fucking Wolverine type character or something. Like he's
Yeah.
pretty chill, honestly. He's stern,
Yeah.
but he always comes from like a good place. I always felt like, um, but yeah, but also from the previous talking point, Seth was like kind of that guy who we had a coach and that was Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe had a good relationship with like everybody, but he was more of like the analyst, and Seth was like the IGL coach and like captain. So he was the player that had the relationship with org and team. And I think the reason the Sonic system was pretty efficient was because we were all scared of Seth in a way. We knew that
Yeah.
Seth controlled our jobs. And that's not a
Wow.
bad thing because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like it all made us commit to something.
Yeah.
And we all committed to something that really paid off and it really worked. Um, and he still does the same thing just from the manager role now. He's obviously like less involved in like making strats and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, but like he's the holder of the keys. Like he holds the keys to the house. Like he's still the owner of that team.
Yeah, I agree with you. Seth, him and I, we go way back, not so way, but quite some time. and I know that he reminds me of this like a little bit away how my stepfather was military.
Hmm.
He's old school. You could feel the energy of his of a manager in Seth. You know, my stepfather was in the Navy, and you know things got to be in order, and he was strict about it.
Hmm.
Um, but like Seth reminds me of that old school vibe. You know, you got to get the job done and do it right, and you will feel that presence of that person, that's, you know, their dominance, and they want the things done right, and you know he's cool. Don't cross him the wrong way because it's not going to go good, you
Yeah,
know.
and he
So
was he was good on the spectrum too of like listening to people. Like he didn't. It wasn't just his way or the highway. Like he definitely incorporated like ideas from everybody and everything else, and it was a true team atmosphere. But it was probably the closest thing or closest team environment that I experienced. A traditional sport, and it made it easy to follow him just because he knew what he was talking about when it came to like the meta in the game. And you know, he was a workhorse. Like that guy was always doing shit. He was either rod reviewing
oh
or making
yeah.
strats or doing whatever. Like he's definitely a guy like you follow by example in the sense that like, yeah, I want to listen to that guy.
You know, I was, when I first started the podcast and I was announcing it, I told, you know, I invited some people, hey, do you want to be the first, you know, person and have you on the show? And I wanted somebody with a big name, somebody that's is really embedded in esports that a lot of people know. And I reached out to some couple people that I know, and everybody was like, no, I can't now, I can't this, I can't that. And as soon as I asked Seth, he said, you know, oh yeah, I'll help you out. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. When do you want it? This day, this date. I was nervous because that was my first episode. So, oh God,
You
I
didn't know
wish I
what you
could.
were gonna get.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. You know, it was just crazy. I made bloopers, and I was like, oh. And what's really funny is that a lot of people that does podcasting, they said, listen, your first episode, you're gonna make so much bloopers. You're gonna be nervous. You don't know what to say. And they said, they all told me, I told you, you got to go do an episode with a buddy of yours, a really close friend that you know for many years, because that makes it more easy for you.
Yeah.
And they said, well, after the ninth episode, then you're going to start getting better.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang. And doing it with Seth, and I think Seth kind of like picked up, okay, he needs some help. So he would carry a lot of the conversation and do a lot of the talking. And I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, because, you know, I'm getting stumbled, you know, I'm doing this
Yeah.
backwards. But now if I bring him on, it's going to be more chill because I kind of like, I'm already used to
Yeah.
it.
Seth's
But
degree is like in something with like this kind of stuff, like camera work and media.
yeah.
Like he's a intelligent guy. He's got like a master's degree in it or something. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
crazy.
he's really smart, really smart. But I'm so thankful that he stood up to the plate, you know, and went ahead and helped me out because it was hard. And after that, you know, since he helped me out, a lot of then everybody started flowing in. All the people started accepting and accepting and accepting and accepting, you know, the schedules and everything, the interviews. And now I'm doing, geez, I just did an interview with one Oxygen for iRacing. He does NASCARs.
Nice.
Yeah, NASCAR is really, really awesome. So my the podcast spreading out all over, but
Hell yeah.
he's a founder, you know, he's the one that helped me out. He helped me with the first episode, and I'm truly, truly grateful for him. So when you did all, you did, how many seasons you were with Sonics?
Um, shit. I think it was like a year and a half. I think it was five. It was five stages of the NAL, I guess, or four maybe.
Like
It was
four
like one
years
whole
with him?
year.
Okay.
I think so. It was one whole year. Like we moved into the team house in February 2020. I think. I don't know. It was so long ago. I can't remember.
Probably has to be in
because
Wikipedia.
there was 2 years of the NAL, and
Okay.
yeah, there was 2 years of the NAL, and I played for like 1.5 of them with SQ. So that'd be 5 stages total. One invite, 4 majors, and yeah.
Now, was there a moment was there a tournament that you had with Sonics that you never forget, like you will always remember?
There's two. I'll never forget Invitational. The one where we finished top 6. That was the highest we've placed at an international event. That was the first international event we went to, and we didn't get fucking just bent.
Mm-hmm.
And then winning NAL. And we won that on my birthday to make it even more memorable. It was
Oh
literally,
God.
yeah, December 12th, 2021. We won the NAL championship. And it was just a domestic championship. Most people just kind of brush it off, I guess, whatever, because it's local, domestic. But it was really a big deal for us. Like, that was the first trophy all of us have lifted in our careers. Maybe except for Seth, because he used to play Vegas way back in the day. But it was the
Mm-hmm.
first time he won in Siege. Like, it was the first chip he's ever won in Siege. It was a big deal for us. We got shit on in Sweden. We came back and just grinded. We didn't take a break. We grinded all the way through NAL. We did NAL, took a little break for Christmas, came back, grinded again for Invite, went to Invite, finished top 6. So it was like that little spurt was like super memorable. It was really a powerful moment because we all really just kind of just fucking put our head down and just went in to be the best version of ourselves because these were big events that were coming up.
Wow. That's crazy. Winning on your birthday. That's you will never forget
Nope.
that.
And then we went to. It was funny because we went to a place in the Red Rock. It's called T-Bone. It's a really expensive steakhouse, and there was 9 of us, I think, or 8 of us. It was my girlfriend and then the whole team: Lauren, Joe, Seth, Kenzen, Grixer,
Mm-hmm.
Richie, and everybody. And yeah, we spent a lot of money on the company card that night.
Oh, really? So the
Yeah.
company.
Oh yeah. It was a celebratory dinner. We won an event. Darren said go out to eat. It's all it's covered. $1,600 later, they were pissed.
Oh God! What
Yeah,
the hell did you freaking? I bought
just a
everybody
bunch of
had
steaks.
tomahawks.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. Every steak was like $100. We ordered like $80 worth of asparagus. Darren's like $80 worth of asparagus. What the fuck? It was just crazy. It was crazy. It was
You,
crazy stuff.
yeah, you could have went to Walmart and bought 5 bags.
My guy, we could have bought a lot of stuff. I mean, we spent the normal down payment on a car for a dinner. It
Oh
was,
God, that is so true.
oh yeah, that was good times. Good
That's a
times.
wow. Was there? I mean, Darren must have been like, "What the
He
heck?"
he was not happy. Joe said, "I'm never doing that again." So basically, the funny thing was, so every time a player had a birthday, they got to pick a restaurant, and it was covered by the company. Everyone else picked like pretty like nonchalant places. Like, there were nice restaurants, but it was nothing like that crazy. And then we won the NAL. I was like, "Fuck it, let's go here." I did not know how expensive it was going to be. I saw the
Mhm.
dollar signs on Google. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a nicer restaurant. I did not expect it to be that fucking expensive. And let me tell you, it was that expensive. Oh my goodness.
What? Do you remember what steak you ordered? Ribeye or
Oh,
tomahawk?
I didn't get a tomahawk. It was just a really thick cut of like 100% pure. Like, I couldn't even remember. It was so long
Had to
ago,
be a
but
ribeye or
it
porterhouse.
was
Did it have a bone or without bone?
yeah, it had a bone. I think it was a big ass ribeye.
Ribeye.
But I'm telling you, this
Yeah, it
thing
had to
was
be
like
the outlaw.
this fucking thick.
Oh
It's a
man,
place you go as like a steak enthusiast. They don't season the steak with anything other than salt and pepper. No steak sauce. It just tastes like
like
beef.
like a real deal.
Yeah, and it was good. It's just honestly, the flavor wasn't like I was expecting some like nice seasoned steak,
Yeah,
but I got it. It's like fine tasting wine, I guess.
I know. There's some places that I go for steak, and I will never forget. Same thing. We were doing a big mass sales in the car industry, and I think it was in Texas, and
Yeah.
my boss said, "Dress up because we're gonna go to a steak dinner and all this." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." He goes, "Jeff, I know you're not used to this, but it's gonna be $100 plus plate dinner." I'm like,
Oh
"What?
man.
100? What?" I said. He goes, "Don't worry about it. Just come." So we went. All I see is photos of every single actor with their autographs, and it's called Three Forks.
Yeah.
steakhouse, Three Forks. Bro, you could cut the steak with a butter knife.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
that freaking good. I was like, oh man. And if you leave breadcrumbs, there was the waiters were right there. They just sweep it up with a scoop and just take it away. And it was like, I mean, we had VIP treatment. But it
Yeah.
was funny because when my boss walked in, he says, "Who's the manager tonight?" And the manager came over, "Yeah, I'm the manager." And he just put $100 bill in his hand and said, "Hey, give me
Oh
the
my
best
goodness.
table and the best server." He goes, he looks at his hand, he goes, "So and so, so and so, so and so over here, get this group on that VIP lobby." We had a VIP table that was freaking awesome.
Holy
And
shit.
we went crazy. We bought, and I was like, damn, the bill's gonna get expensive. And then it was expensive, like $1,000 some dollars. And
Yeah.
then the big boss said, "Don't worry, I got it all covered." I was like,
Man.
yes, escape that one. They had even had a freaking cigar lounge for
Yeah.
people that smoke cigar and drink wine and stuff. It was awesome.
Holy
But
shit.
yeah, man, yeah, I ordered the porterhouse. I love porterhouse and ribeye. Freaking insane.
Yeah, I like strips and ribeyes.
Strips, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
one time I told Seth, tell me what I'm gonna get some steak. What should I get? He goes, get the New York strip.
Yep.
Freaking good steak.
Yep. Not too fatty.
Not too fatty, just good, and it's nice and tender. If you know how to
Mm-hmm.
cook it, and you're good to go. You're good
Yep.
to go. Yeah, I would have laughed my ass out if I was there with you guys and spent 1,600. Darren would have just, oh
His
gosh.
exact words is good thing you guys won. How much? What was the prize pool for that event? It was like, God, I can't remember. It was like $100,000 maybe. Oh no, it was 75,000. We won $75,000 as a team. So.
Oh, that's not bad. That's good money.
Oh yeah, it was good money. It was like I think after taxes and everything, it was like an $8,000 check. That's the other thing I miss. The damn winnings.
The winnings,
It's
yeah.
like getting tax returns like 3 or 4 times throughout the year.
Oh, jeez. Now, you did the organization have their like somebody that deals with the taxes, or you had to deal with that individually?
With Soniqs, we were W-2 employees, so we just got W-2s and taxes were super easy. We didn't have to save up fucking 30%.
Oh, okay. So they already
Whereas,
deducted it.
yeah, whereas like Eunited, SSG, Disrupt, all the other orgs I ever played on, they were all 1099s, so tax season sucked. You had to do a bunch of write-offs to, make it make sense, and if not, you're putting like a quarter of your income up at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. It was 1099. I hate 1099 stuff.
Yeah. It's a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Suckers are a pain in the neck. So when you went to SSG, how did that go?
SSG was really good at first. I mean, I think so. I have ADHD. I think to no one's surprise.
Oh, I have it too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think that I'm a pretty anxious person, and I have no problem like socializing with people or anything like that. But like a lot of I reflect on it because when you're done, you sit down and you kind of reminisce and you think about like how things could have been or where things maybe went different and stuff. I think for me, I don't think I separated myself enough from that team in the long term. Like they're a very like inclusive team as far as like they always want to do stuff together, and like I thought that was really cool. But I think I overdid it for my own like mental health. I think that spending so much time with him and started to do it so there's like a better feeling that no one's plotting against you or something like that. Because I felt like once we started losing and like just the way the team atmosphere was like there's changes coming and you don't want to be a part of it. So you spend a lot of time with these people because then you feel better. Like, okay, I'm always with them, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But in reality, what's going to happen is going to happen. So in time, I would have just like separated myself and did my own thing a little bit more. And I maybe it wouldn't have been so bad.
There's one of those things that I hear a lot of players when they go into different orgs and they try to get a better feel how this organization is going to work out, but they all have that sense of feel of walking on eggshells because you don't know when you're ever going to get kicked. You don't know if you're going to get replaced. You just don't know. You could be a good player and they could replace you for somebody that's
Yeah,
pretty well known
to increase their ceiling. Yeah.
to increase. And it's kind of crazy. I can't. It's same way goes with car sales. You got to sell.
Yep.
You're working in commission, and if you don't sell, you don't make any money. And if you
Don't pay your
don't make any
bills.
money, then you're gone.
Yep.
See you later.
Yep.
We're
You're
gonna
gonna do
hire
something
somebody
else.
else. Yeah. So being a pro player is not easy. A lot of people think it's gonna be easy, and it's not.
Yeah.
As far as I see, how players go, what they go through is really hard.
Yeah. I just think there's a hard to trust people. I think it's just really hard to trust people, whether you're living with
Yeah.
them or not. Like, I don't know. I think Soniqs is really the one team I didn't have that issue with, and then SSG I didn't have that issue at all first because we were playing really good. They were performing like they hadn't all like basically they were performing at a level that they haven't for a little while. I was like probably like top 2 or top 1 that stage, so yeah, I had no issues at first, and then after the Yonkaping major, after we got grouped, I felt like there was like a series of knee-jerk reactions. That's the other thing too. A lot of teams, they make these knee-jerk reactions. It's understandable to want to change and adapt and do stuff, but sometimes if you lose and you change philosophy or just styles or whatever, like it can you're skating on thin ice. You're playing with a thin string. Like you don't. It's very fragile. Teams are just very, very fragile. So you got to be very careful about the decisions you make. Because they really do change the atmosphere. They change the players' perspective. They change how the players feel. Yeah, so it's very, very finicky stuff. With Soniqs, we never really had that. It was we made changes, but it was changes like to better ourselves around how we were in that moment. We weren't like changing roles. We weren't necessarily even changing styles. It was just all trying to optimize what we were doing, and we kind of created our own identity out of it.
Now I have a question. Is it the fact that you went from Sonics, because you were in Sonics for quite some time, and you went to Spacestation Gaming? Was the change very drastic that it kind of like made you like, okay, I want to retire. I want to say goodbye to this.
No, I think it's just honestly the only reason I retired was because of the money. I'm being completely honest with you. Like I still love the game. Like I still play it, and I would still play it if I had the opportunity to. It's the salaries. The salaries have receded to what they were when I was 18, 19 years old, living at home, going to college, working 1 day a week, chasing my dreams. I played professionally for 6 years, and then for 2.5, 3 years out of that, I was making almost 100 grand a year. I built up a lifestyle for myself that these salaries can't sustain. And I'm not trying to,
Mm,
and to be the best at it, you need to put 100% into it. And it makes no sense to be a part-timer in a league,
yeah,
especially the pro league. Like this is the highest level of siege, and these
correct.
players can't make enough to live off of. And that's why you see so much of these young guns being in the league. They're not necessarily better. Like I'll be honest, I feel like if I was to come back in about a month or two's time, I'd probably be better than
Almost
75,
every
50% of the league. I'm not going to put myself like a top 10 or whatever. I've never been a top 10 or top 5 player consistently. I've always been more of like a
top 20.
not even that really. Inconsistency is something I definitely struggled with. But I was always more on like the supporting cast ish type type roles, aside from Mirage. Like on Sonics, I was like second hard breach and flank watch, and then they wanted me to do that on SSG, but it's partially my fault for the way I played on that and the freedoms that they gave me that I just kind of took myself out of that role, and I think that partially fucked that team and it fucked me, and that's my fault. Because I want to do lurky shit, which
Yeah.
it's not bad, but it's got its place in time and place, and moderation is key and everything in Siege. Like do too much of one thing, you get caught on to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we live and learn, So that answers the question if you would ever want to if you ever consider coming back.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've even put myself out there a little bit. The tweet I made was kind of a meme, but it kind of wasn't. Like I'm always entertaining it. Like if I got an offer to come back, then absolutely. But I also understand that I probably won't get an offer because I'm not doing anything publicly with the game. I am working a lot, so I don't play as much. The game sense is still there, and it's like riding a bike. I have over 15,000 hours in the game. 15,000 hours. That equates over
Wow.
to literally 1 year's real time. Like that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of fucking time. So mechanically, I've been playing other games. I've been playing CS:GO, League of Legends, and stuff. So it's not like I got off the computer completely and went and just changed my whole lifestyle. No, I mean I play video
Correct.
games ever since I go to the gym, I meal prep, I clean, whatever, and then I play games for 6, 7, 8 hours whenever I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I would love to
So,
coach though. Realistically, I would actually love to coach.
mhm.
I just don't have I don't have a resume for that, so it sucks, and I won't get that chance more than likely. The
But
teams that would give me a chance probably wouldn't pay me or pay me a lot,
yeah.
and the teams that would, they have coaches that have been within that system for so long. Oshi, you have Redeemer and Hopes. Um, SQ, you have Lauren, and I just know how Seth is. Seth won't change that no matter what. Like that'll be that coaching staff forever. Like between Joe and Lauren and them, and
Mhm.
yeah. So all the big teams, they have a little bit more resources to really get people that have the accolades and stuff. They're a little less likely to take a chance on. Former player who's never coached. Yeah.
Well, Fabian never had a history of coaching, and they pulled him, and guess what? They freaking won an SI.
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, it. I believe this is my opinion. For a coach to be someone to be a coach, you had to be a player, a pro player, so you would know what to expect, especially when you're on stage, you're playing LAN, and you have that pressure. You feel the crowd. I mean, you've gone through it. You've been there. You've done that, and you could immediately detect and tell one of your players is playing nervous, and you could whisper to his ears and say, "Listen, I know what you're going through. I feel it. I know. I've been there. I've done that. Hey, just relax. Play this role. Do this for now, and we'll figure this out." You know, you have that experience. I'm sure 100% you're going to do, if you go for coach, you're going to do phenomenal.
Yeah. I wish I could do it on like a T2 team or like a team that like I wish I could do it in my free time, but I don't have enough free time. It's impossible. My schedule is so it flip flops, and then obviously being in the car business, you work overtime to make deals happen and stuff like that. Like if I've been at work from 8 to fucking 5, and I start working a deal at 4, I'm not leaving until 7 or 8, and I have to do it to pay my bills. If it was something with a little bit of a less salary, I could definitely maybe get a part-time job that would pay on top of what I'm doing and still be able to do
Correct.
everything to max effect. And that's something I'm definitely like open to. I just haven't gone down that rabbit hole. And I really haven't put that much effort into like putting myself out there like, hey, give me a chance, because I am a natural leader. I think most people can see that. And that's why I've had issues on certain teams where I don't feel like the leadership is, I guess, good. You know what I mean?
I think it's because you're used to Seth. I think the way Seth is, I remember you were under a really good leader,
Yeah.
and you probably learned a lot from him, and he made you feel secure. He made you feel like, wow, okay, this is how it should be. And then you had that role model, you had that person that you looked up to in the way he designed it. And I think that's why you're very confident. I think that's why you're the way you are, because you were trained by, you learned from the best. You got trained by him, and I think you're gonna do. I think you do phenomenal. I just think you got to put yourself out there. And I know how it is that you're making good money. You already know how much you have, your bills are. You know how much money you're gonna need, what type of income. So, like I always say, don't lose the bird that you have in your hand for 100 flying. Wait until something secure
Yeah.
happens, and then you obviously talk it over with your fiance, right? She's your or you're about to
Girlfriend,
get married.
but
Girlfriend.
long term partner. Yeah. We've been together for 3 years this month.
Oh, geez, man, it's time to
Yeah.
tie that knot, brother.
That's what everyone keeps. That's what everyone keeps telling me. But rings are expensive, so, and I don't want to get her no ring pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, at
I want it to
least
be nice.
yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. I always say, talk to your girlfriend, say, hey, what do you think, and then she usually people that love you the most are going to give you the best advice,
Yeah.
and then and it's usually your mom, your dad, brother, sister, of course, your girlfriend,
Yeah.
so your partner, so it's going to help you out. They're going to give you the best advice. So I really wish you come back, man, because I mean you're a phenomenal player, and I seen you play, and I remember seeing you stream and watch your stream. I'll be lurking, and I'm like, man, this guy's freaking good,
Yeah.
and I would have like never expected you to retire being that good. Um,
The downfall is quick. It's when you
yeah,
watch top players go, they go from top teams to contending teams, and then from contending teams down to lower tier teams. Mirage, I was skeptical to join for the org, but at the same time, like that was probably the best opportunity as far as talent went. Like I was playing with familiar faces. I had Kansan again. I had Rampy. I've never played with DP Fire, but again another alkalated player, and Surf, which was kind of like an up and coming player. But I think with that one, Yardi could be a hell of a salesman. I'll say that right now. Yardi could sell the fuck out of something
oh yeah,
because I like Yardi. He's a funny guy, but he really sold himself as a coach, and he talked big. And at the end of the day, I don't think he was really half of what he said. Now, it's
yeah.
not to be a shot. If he's taking it as a shot, it is what it is. But that's just my honest opinion about it. And I think that the other players in that team would agree as well. I think like he was passionate. Ugh, that's what I thought. Passionate, but I just felt like, yeah,
I think I know where you're coming from. I think Yardi has a man. He's one of those type of person that either you love him or you hate him.
yeah, no
There's
middle.
there's I never know nobody's in between. You got people that just love him to death, and you got people that just hate him. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay. And I see both sides of the story. I mean, I don't have nothing against him. He's really cool with me. I even mod for him as well.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
He's
it's crazy.
he's a funny guy. I see
He's
him more
funny.
as a character than a leader. That's all. I feel like, yeah, that's how I can put it. He's just more of a
Yeah,
personality than a leader.
yeah. Sometimes, well, the thing is, because you know him quite some time, and then sometimes you don't know if you rather take him serious or not. It's like,
Exactly.
okay, wait 1 second. Versus Seth. Seth was just like he's pure leader. You could read it.
Yeah,
Sometimes Seth has this dry sense of humor, and
yeah,
I know he gets that. He puts that on camera, and he just streams. He puts that on his stream. And I know he's just playing around. But
yeah,
some people take him like dirt serious. You already, it's like okay, you know, you find him comical, and it's like, okay, is he? I think he's just joking around 100%. Just don't take him serious, and then that's why people. And then when he's serious and he's saying some things like okay, this will make sense and this is legit, then a lot of people don't take him serious. Like, oh,
yeah,
God, I think that's my perspective. What I see with Yardi.
yeah.
Yeah, Mirage really has a really crazy reputation right now, and I just
Oh
hope they
yeah.
square. I hope they square away the issues that they have.
That guy Carl
So,
needs to get arrested. That guy needs to get sued into the ground and just his business license is taken away. Like that guy should not be doing business with literally anybody. You
I
don't.
mean, it's all over. It's all over Twitter. I mean, people have been complaining that the money's not coming in. I don't know
Yeah,
the guy personally. I haven't spoken to him. I don't know him. I mean, but a lot of people, the players are waiting for such a long time. Payments that have been owed, and I don't think that that's a good thing. I think there's lack of communication. Something is going on, and I
he doesn't
think
have
that it.
investors. That's all it is. He lost investors at some point, and he's been trying to keep that org afloat himself with his other companies. Like he took out a second mortgage on his house to pay salaries at one point. Like
Oh,
it's not pretty stuff,
yeah.
but you don't promise people things if you can't do it. Just be a man and admit, like, I can't do this. Like, we're done.
Yeah, I think what I don't want to speak for him. He's not here to defend himself, but I think, in my opinion, if you know your ship is sinking, give a life raft to everybody and say, "Listen, guys, it's time for me to go because honestly, my boat is gonna it's gonna sink. Let me just make sure I pay everybody off. I'm good with everybody. Keep everybody as friends, and then if anything happens in the future, then I'll be back." But it appears to be that he didn't do that, and he just keeps on.
Lying. He's just lying over and over
Yeah,
again.
he keeps on going. That's sad.
What's crazy too is because I've been a part of the way it's correctly handled. Eunited went bankrupt. They
Mm,
pulled out of everything they owned. They sold all their assets. They let go of everybody they had, and it was very professionally done. When we got dropped from United because the org was going under, they let us know, like, hey, we're not going to do this. Like, Seizure isn't a good investment for us anymore because they put so many resources into us. They sold their Call of Duty team for millions of dollars or $8 million. I don't know the exact dollar figure, but they ended up putting like 500 grand into the Siege team. It's all little return. And that's partially because we weren't making majors and all that good stuff. But at the same time, they put us into a team house. They were sending camera guys out and doing media around us and TikToks and this. Like, it was the first T1 organization experience. But that was the height of COVID. Things were going just haywire. Everyone was losing their mind. But they said, all right, we're going to let you go. We say, hey, we'll take a pay cut, like cut our salaries in half, just like, stay. And it's like, it's not that, it's not you guys. It's just, there's going to be stuff coming out. And they let us go. There was a clause in our contract that was, guaranteeing us money if they terminated us. And we got that money. We got all of our winnings. It was super professional. It sucked, but it was super
yeah,
professional. And that's what Mirage had the chance of doing years ago when this stuff started happening. But their players were living in houses that had infestations of bugs, and there was no maintenance. They weren't paying the rent. It was insanity.
wow,
It's not.
that's
It's not.
sad.
I'm not trying to just like bash on them, but I am because I was a part of it. I've had friends that have been a part of it. Um, it's messed a lot of people up. They're promised this, they move, they spend all this money to do that, and they don't get paid. They can't afford to like eat. They can't afford to get around. Like, that's scary stuff.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's sad. Putting players through that, and that's not healthy. That's not good at all. Um, that's like now I understand because it's like a lot of people are just really upset with that organization, really upset, and I'm like, what I'm seeing and reading, somebody's gonna get sued real bad.
I mean, it's waiting to happen. It's a little complicated because Canada. It's a Canada-based org. He's
That's
a
a
Canada
different
citizen.
law.
Exactly. Different laws, different approach. If it was in the U.S., this shit would have been over. Wraps
Oh,
done.
yeah, that would have been done.
But it's the fact that it's an international situation. It's very difficult for the players because you have to get a Canadian lawyer because you're going to sue him. He's not going to come to you. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So,
It's all totally different.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
summon him to the U.S. I don't think.
Uh, they could be. Remember, he has his. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Because he
That's
was operating in the U.S. Like, he had a team here.
yeah.
So there's some. I don't know shit about law.
That's a good question to ask one of the attorneys I had on my show not too long ago. Is an esport attorney. That's a good question
Yeah,
because you
honestly.
you just don't know and stuff like that. What can you do? I mean, they're running their business here in the United States, so they have to obey by the laws over here.
Mm-hmm.
But what can they get away with? We don't know. Remember, there's a contract you guys have to sign.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that contract say? The fine print. That's actually kind of like defending him.
Well, here's the thing too. Carl doesn't believe in contracts. What I know is, so one variation the Mirage roster said, we're not playing for you, and Carl's like, you can't do that. You signed a contract. But if you haven't paid them, the contract can be terminated. So the players are
True.
basically terminated their contract, and Carl just doesn't believe them. Like, I don't know. This guy's something else. He's a
Yeah.
spectacle. He's a spectacle. Let me tell you that. False promises, a liar, like manipulator. I don't give a shit because he's ruined people's lives.
Yeah,
Really made it
there's a
hard.
lot of people upset. And why does Ubisoft? Ashiv, very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. I like Ashiv a lot. He tweeted something out, and
Oh, I
it's
saw.
like
Yeah.
I was like, he is like livid upset. I never seen it. You
He's
know,
spitting.
yeah. Well, he has a right. He has freedom of speech. He can say whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
And he's posting it out there, and he said he's giving us his peace of mind, and now I can understand why.
Yeah. Well, it's good. These people have to. Like, as a pro player, you're a pillar of the community. As a streamer, you're a pillar of the community. If you're a big cosplayer, you're a pillar of the community. Like, if you have these, like, this voice and this personalities, like, boycotting these organizations is a good thing to do. Like, it's, you know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
sit with us. You don't pay your players. You lie. Get out. Give the license to an actual fucking org.
My thing is, why do players keep on going to them?
Because it's a spot. It's a spot in the league. It's exposure. It's prize pool winnings if they give it to you. It's a chance to go international. That's paid for by Ubi. Mirage don't got to pay shit. So you're good on that end. You don't have to worry about that.
Wow.
So it's worth it for a player to go in and not get paid if they're good, taking care of their home, whatever. It's a free opportunity. But, you know, that's the only reason that it makes sense for them. But for the rest of the league, it's just a slap in the face.
Yeah. Well, probably the best thing could happen is to cut the line, like all the players get into an agreement, said, let's not join them, because that's the only way until they start paying and pay everybody then.
Yeah.
But
because the orgs could also, like, boycott Ubi or Blast, saying, like, we will not play this team.
oh,
We
really?
refuse.
They could do that?
I mean, yeah, there might be some repercussions, but if every other team does it, what are you going to do? You're going to pick the minority? You're going to side with the organizations that not paying their players, that has this bad PR circulating around them year in and year out? Like, they're a business. They're going to make the educated decision. They have no choice.
Yeah.
The players rally around each other. The fans rally around the teams. Like, Ubi's not going to say, no, sorry, 9 other teams, they're spending all of this money, and this org gets to be here and not spend any money. That's just not fair.
Yeah, it isn't. It's not fair at all. Man, that's tough. That's tough. That is tough. I mean, I wish this gets sorted out, and I wish these players get the money that they are owed. Because I mean, I could feel their pain. Because it's me. I mean, I work in the medical field, but it's. I remember back in the days working in a dealership, the paycheck was coming in late. I was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Oh, we gotta wait to this to the bank agrees. I'm like, "Geez, come on!" And they're like, yeah, as soon as they sign off to it, that's when we get the paycheck, we get the money. And I'm like, it was a very
Sketchy thing.
yeah, it was a deal. It was a 20 car lot used car
Little
dealer.
mom and pop shop.
Yeah, a very small one. So I couldn't demand, the big paychecks out of them. So they just like, I sold a couple cars there, here and there, and they just like, oh, you gotta wait. I'm like, oh gosh. And then we'll wait
Yeah.
for, I think, like 4 days, everything went through. Then they'll send me the money. They pay me. I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh. And that's just waiting for that. I could just imagine these players have been out years without getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Years without getting paid.
They've threatened to sue him before. There's been a lot of threats tossed out that, like, to that org's way. But he thinks he's bulletproof, and his time's coming. His time's coming that, someone's going to sue him, or players are going to sue him, an organization's going to sue him. Something's going to happen where that guy gets what he deserves.
Yeah, that's not right. If he refinanced his house or whatever, what he should have done, in my opinion, he should have just went ahead, pay off all these players, and close shop. Say, guys, I'm cool. Everybody good? Everybody good? You got your money? Okay.
We're
I
done.
truly apologize for everything, and make sure they sign the paperwork that they received the money, and they're done and happy, and everybody off to their ways.
Exactly.
And I mean,
place Mirage on the back burner, and just, if you can come back later on, do it, and your name's not completely destroyed.
Exactly. Well, because nobody now don't trust that organization. They don't want to go that way. So, just a real quick thing I want to ask you. I always meaning to ask, and I know I'm going a little bit. I now want to go a little bit back on your past.
Mhm.
When was it that you first started getting into R6? I mean, you started on console, or you just
Mhm.
went from? How did
Yeah.
that happen?
So the game came out in December, Christmas. I think it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, 2015. I just turned 18, and I played the game in beta. And I thought, wow, this is a really cool game. And then when the game came out, I had a group of little friends that we played on Xbox, and I just played casual, and I didn't like ranked, so it was too hard. And then as I got better at the game, as I started liking ranked, and then I actually got in like touch with a couple pro players just through ranked. Bosco was one of the first, and there was another Xbox player I don't remember, but I started playing. I remember watching Skies when he was really big on console, and yeah, I just that's where it started. And then once they cut the league, I had a gaming laptop and I started playing on that. It's a piece of shit, And my grandparents bought me my first gaming computer and my second gaming computer when the first one broke because I made Pro League once at that point, and then they saw how depressed I was because like I had so much left on the table. I was a 19-year-old. I finally made it, and I knew I could make money doing it. And I was hell bent on turning this into a career. And yeah, so they got me my second computer. It's actually the computer that's being used on my brother at home. It's been rebuilt. I'm gonna hold on to that case forever. That case is gonna be like computers. Like the heart and guts of a computer will go through that case about 100 times before I die. Knocking
Wow.
on wood.
Who was the second one that gave it to you? Who was it? Your first was your grandparents. The
My
second was
second
who?
was my grandparents too.
Also, they both. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
so I always give a lot of props to my grandparents because not props, but like appreciation to my grandparents because I
Yeah.
love them to death. But they saw my passion for the
Mm-hmm.
game, and they knew nothing about it. I could have been lying out of my ass about the money that potential that was there and this, that, and the other. And then yeah, they really believed in me and they believed what I was saying. They actually bought me a plane ticket to go to. So after Noble and like Orglis, that was my second go round in Pro League. We got relegated due to 3/5 rule, and they bought me a plane ticket to go to Invite in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. And I ended up having a conversation with Cashflow, the owner of Disrupt, and that's how I ended up getting on Disrupt. Disrupt led to United, and then those therefore, like without my grandparents, I would not be where I'm at or where I like be able to achieve what I achieved. Like they were the sole support of my dreams and aspirations as a young adult. Um, yeah, yeah,
Amazing, amazing. Just takes one a family member to give you that support, and look where you are.
yep.
You did it. You made it. You went to pro league. I bet they were super proud.
Oh yeah, they're super proud. My entire family. My dad, like, he used to tell me as a kid because like he's old school Army for 26 years. On
Mm-hmm.
Saturdays, he'd make us cut wood because it was good for you, and help out the
Yeah.
neighbors, cleaning gutters, mowing lawns, building fucking steps for no reason.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that feeling. I raised military home as well.
yeah, he's like, get the fuck outside. You'll never, like, nothing will come of this. Like, it's just waste your time.
Yeah.
And he eats shit for it all the time. He eats crow. He admits it first and foremost. Like, I was wrong, Alexander. I was wrong. I'm so sorry, son. I'm so proud of you. That's what it is now. And I'm like,
Amazing.
it's cool, It's
Yeah.
but at the same time, he also contributed to the success because I had someone that I wanted to prove wrong that I loved doubting me,
Correct.
and it pushes you.
Well, remember, it's like I told somebody at one of my previous episodes on the podcast is that they're so used to the Mario, Atari, Nintendo. Back
Exactly.
in those days, there was no competitive, there was
Hmm.
no esports.
Yep.
So he only knows what he grew up on.
Yep.
He's like, how are you going to go pro on a Mario or
Yep.
or Galaxy or
Yep.
Galaga, whatever. There's or Tetris, there's just not. So for him, he's not seeing it, but then it's like, wait, this has evolved to a different level.
Hmm. I mean,
And now it's like, wow.
I remember running upstairs once I got signed by United and just like showing my grandparents my contract, like, I'm making 6K a month. I'm making 6K a month. I was losing my fucking mind. And they're like, and I told them, I'm moving to
Wait,
Vegas. I'm moving to Vegas. I had a French, I had a Fama. He moved out from France. That was my first ever roommate. we got an apartment because he was going to live with like the one of the GMs. I was like, no, that's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be cool. Come live with me in Kentucky. So we got an apartment. We called it the Lad Pad. It was a 2-bedroom apartment that we were renting, was furnished and everything for the meantime until they got us our team house in Vegas. But I lived with a Frenchman, and I showed him literally the U.S., like the United States culture. He shot guns with me, um, you know, just American culture as much as I could, and it was a really cool experience.
Oh, amazing. I mean, heck, if I was to have a if I was to have a contract like that, I'll be really, that's an amazing freaking contract.
Oh yeah, it was a good feeling because I was making
That's
like
a
seven
good
hundred
feeling.
fifty bucks a month
Oh
before that.
god. Yeah, and then for all of a sudden making 6K, jeez, that's some
Definitely blew
really
that
good.
money. I definitely blew all of that money.
Oh gosh.
Every bit of it. I bought
Do
guns. I bought car. I bought
yeah.
just. I was ordering food
You
all the
just
time.
enjoyed it.
I was
Yeah.
having a blast. I was. I mean, I was 21 maybe 22,
Mhm.
21, 22. And that was the first time in my life I ever saw a kind of money like that. And I was just spending it. I was ordering food all the time. COVID
Yeah.
happened, so we were locked in the house. We were spending money because we were bored.
Yeah, because you just got money. Now, if you could go back, what would you done differently? Would you saved it?
So much different.
Yeah.
So much different. So much different. Um, it's a challenge. You know, you got a lot of desires in life, and it's to have the discipline to say no is definitely not something that everyone who gets with age or gets it just naturally. But I was definitely the person who got it with age. You know,
Yeah.
spend it, go broke, learn, and kind of go like that.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. That's if I could go back to the days when I was in that marketing sales, I'd said the same thing. I would have saved every freaking penny.
Yeah.
Would have saved every freaking penny. I would have had so much saved up. But we live and learn. There's are things that we have to go through. We got to know how it feels to make mistakes so we could get better and improve in life. And now I know that when you make some big bucks, you're going to be saving it, and you're going to learn to appreciate that. That's the only way you're going to learn. Some
Yep.
people they learn it very early. Some people learn it later. Some people learn it, during certain amount of times in their life. But yeah, that's crazy. That's really nice. I mean that you got to experience. You enjoyed the money, which you deserve to. But I think you would have done it a little bit rational. Okay, I wouldn't spend money on buying so
Yeah.
much. So I would have bought a couple things. Would have bought this and just have some fun with it, but be very careful with it
Mm.
and save up.
Yeah.
But have you ever thought about like casting or ever?
Casting's not for me. I don't have the vocal presence or capability to be a caster. I talk extremely fast naturally. It would take speech therapy to fix that. Um, Analyst work I could probably do, just because I'm so familiar with the game and understand it at a deep level. But
Correct.
casting, I don't think so. It's
Analyst would. I think you'll do good for being an analyst. I think Ubisoft should look into that and try
yeah.
to
I mean, I could definitely
check
do
you
it with
out.
smaller events, and that's what I was doing for a little bit while I was waiting to start working uh, at a car dealership. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's where my heart's at, to be honest with you. I don't mind analyst work. Like I do enjoy it, but I would much rather do it for a team. Like not even analyst work, but I'd much rather do coaching.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think. Well, let's see. Let's cross our fingers and hopefully somebody out there listens to this episode and says, I'm sure he'll make a really good coach. You got the experience, you have the knowledge, you've been in there for quite some time. You played with Seth, with Super, and that's phenomenal. So you were with Soniqs, you went with Spacestation Gaming, and I think you would make a phenomenal coach. I'm going to be really honest.
I
You're
appreciate it.
very well respected. A lot of these pro players know who you are, and I think there's an opportunity if somebody's out there to give you a chance.
Yeah,
I'll vouch for you, man. Trust me. If I
well,
get asked, I'll vouch for you. I seen you. I seen you do your stuff.
I appreciate that.
I did my research on you, uh, and all I get is all really good feedback. So I know you. I know deep inside, usually a lot of these players that retire afterwards, they start feeling that hunger to come back.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
know,
the glory.
Bolo
It's the
came
glory
back.
days.
Achieve wants to come back now, and it's like they miss it, and especially with this last SI that happened. It like boosts adrenaline into everybody. Seeing the crowd, 10,000 people going freaking wild in Brazil, and the
Yep,
game is like, wait, I wanna be there again. I just want to freaking play now.
yep. It definitely
So
helps, and all the updates they announced are like super good too. Like I think reducing the amount of sites that are in the game again just it simplifies it, and I think what they're doing with like the speed of the game. I wasn't a fan of when they um, basically they slow down the operators to a one armor whenever you're ADS. I hated that, but them like slowing down the ADS speed, like the time it takes to ADS. I'm a big fan of that. And I like the ACOGs. I think the game will slow down a little bit again, not by much, but just a little bit, and it'll favor um, more of Siege's true identity. I feel like you're still gonna have aggressive stuff going on, but there's more room for a little bit more slower pace creativity.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So now that's all on the toss. Now we're just we're seeing what Rainbow is doing. Ubisoft. Hopefully everything works out good. I just saw something not too long ago that this what is it esport Rainbow Six is going to be now part of like a esport tournament or something like that, grand tournament. I don't know. I gotta look into that. I just saw it not too long ago. So let's see how that goes. I just let me see here. I retweeted it. Okay, Esports World Cup.
Mm,
So Rainbow Six Siege just entered the Esports World Cup this summer. It's gonna making its way from Paris to right out, something like that.
yeah, right on.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That they just announced that
Well, they were gonna do it
not long ago.
a long time ago, I think, right? And like they were gonna have like professional athletes be coaches or something. I can't remember. I don't know if it's the same thing, but they called it the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what that looks like. I think it'd be cool, like teams playing for their nationalities, because now we have. I feel like most teams are gonna be. Actually, no, because Europe's kind of a melting pot.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see like all German teams and all English teams and all American teams and maybe an all Mexican team like all kind of going at it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That will yeah, it's gonna be awesome. That I think so too.
Brazilians definitely have the upper hand.
Oh gosh. W7M just
That region as a whole, I think that they come from such humble beginnings
yeah.
that they are. I Brazilians are incredibly passionate people. Like people like you see people like saying like they're spitting on people and everything like that. That's deranged passion. It's still passion. It's just deranged. And then you have
Yeah.
the rest of them, which are the majority of the Brazilian fans. They're very very passionate people on a very good scale. They just
They're
want
very
nothing more to see them.
patriotic. Yeah.
Yes.
They even with their soccer team. Oh god.
hmm
They're
Whatever
like the craziest.
whatever comes from that country, their
Yeah.
people are behind it.
Yeah,
190%.
100%. I mean, to be really honest, I thought Messi was like, wow, like the best soccer player, or Cristiano Ronaldo. And I remember way back years ago, somebody said, oh, those are nobody. Look at Ronaldinho. And when I saw Ronaldinho play, I was like, oh my freaking goodness. This guy's another breed.
Yep.
Actually, his style is what Messi learned everything from Ronaldinho. All
Really?
those tricks. Yeah, but there's stuff that Messi cannot do what not even remotely close what Ronaldinho did. Ronaldinho, they had to usually like take three people go against him.
I have no idea
Always.
about anything
He's
soccer
that guy
related.
with the long hair. It's this really cool guy. I mean, he's like phenomenal, phenomenal. So always see their passion, how devoted they are with their team and everything, and seeing this SI, seeing how they were with W7M, even though they were going against FaZe, which their players were all Brazilians as well,
Yep.
and it was just like they were favoring more the, like you said, humble beginnings, their own.
I mean, if you go to Brazil, I mean, I don't know if it's a third world country, but it's not what Europe is. It's not what America is. It's just
No,
far less developed. So, like I said, it's just a lot of people were poor there, and a lot of people probably have pretty rough upbringings. And like to be like an esport professional there is like to be the equivalent of like an NBA player here. Like
yeah,
those guys have buses with their faces on it. Like the money they're making there is like 10 times the average national wage. Like it's insane. Like so those guys are very dedicated because they're
very dedicated.
0 to 100. Like they're going, their lives have changed because of that game, and they understand that.
I remember not long ago, Seth was looking at the look at them, watching the replays, and he's like, "What the heck, this guy's doing here?" Well, what he's doing is what made him lift up the hammer. I was
Yeah.
gonna text him. What he's doing is what made them lift up the hammer.
Yeah.
So he was just like, "What the heck? They're playing strats like so different." So that's what it is. They confuse the freaking heck out of everybody, and it's what.
They speak the
What?
language of siege. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
Like I think you can't fear any opponent, but at the same time you have to understand that these guys are fluent in what the hell's going on in the game. Like they have their preset stuff, but they have like these little cheeky things they do, or whether it's in the moment or it's prepared. Like they're just so loaded. They're not loaded
yeah.
just on talent. They're loaded on strategic capability, whether
The
it's
chemistry, the
everything.
communication, they got it all down to the T. And to come back from one 1-6
Yep.
and to win every single round all the way to the end. Oh my freaking goodness. That was like I never seen that before.
Yeah.
I mean, you're one game from losing it. FaZe was one game from winning the whole entire thing. They just had to win one round. It was done.
hmm
And W7M just won the second, third,
And
fourth,
to be
fifth,
and to,
sixth.
to be a constant champion, and then let alone, I mean, just to be a competent or a consistent contender for a championship is like incredibly difficult. Like you see a lot of these teams, like they'll finish top 8 and whatever regularly, but to be constantly top 4, top 2, and then finally just win, that's nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts. That is nuts.
The mental fortitude you have to lose and come so close and lose and come so close and lose to just and then just kick down the door and just run with it is insane.
I know.
Because that can
I
break
know.
people. Like coming so close and losing. Oh, so
Oh
close. I may
God.
never have this moment again. Fuck that. These people just said, we'll do it again. And then they just took
Yeah,
over
I know.
like a disease.
Freaking crazy. That's crazy. Well, Yeti, unfortunately, I know time is of essence and you got to work tomorrow.
I do.
Um, and I wish I could spend more time. Honestly, I know this is phenomenal. We could have gone for a couple hours more, and I think one of these days we're going to do it because usually I know you and I could carry a conversation of 2 or 3 hours. Usually,
Oh,
my
yeah.
podcast episode could go quite long. You feel the chemistry, the vibes is all there, but it's a good thing because that makes it that I'm going to bring you back on
Part 2.
part two. We need to bring you a part two, and then and we keep on bringing you back.
I'll
Um,
install Google Calendar this time.
yeah. Oh, please do so.
Bro, fucking ridiculous. I was like, I
I
got to
had
do
it.
this today.
Yeah, I had to send you like a day before, an hour before. Gets it. People just gets that little notification. Don't forget,
Yep.
and then you just had to tap to agree. But yeah, but it's all good. I mean, everything happens for a reason. God knows everything. So, um, I give everybody a little time. So you go ahead and tell everybody where to see you, where they can find you, your socials, everything. Go ahead.
So I don't really use much social media anymore. They take away my check mark on Twitch. I got to figure that out. But you can find me on Twitch at Yeti with 2 I's, YETII, and then my X or Twitter is Yeti with 2 I's, R6. So YETII, R6. And that's really the only 2 platforms I use. I don't use Instagram. I don't use Facebook. I don't use LinkedIn or anything like that. Really just Twitter and YouTube. And oh yeah, my YouTube's Yeti Coffee, all capitals.
Okay, folks, there you have it. From the man himself, the legend, Yeti. Okay. Well, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to listening to this episode. And there will be a part 2. So, guys, take care. God bless you. Peace. Till next time.
Thank you, everybody.